In news regarding defamation lawsuits, there's someone aside from Ethan Klein who likes to file really funny and weird lawsuits against people, though in this case, this guy actually does so rather than just like talking big about doing so and never actually doing it. This man's name is Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. You might have heard of him. A few months ago, back in May, Javier Milei filed suit against free journalists for calling him Nazi. I'm not kidding you, for calling him a Nazi. I have to fix the headline here. Viviana Canosa is not a journalist. Viviana Canosa is a far-right TV host who went on TV during the pandemic and drank bleach because she thought it cured COVID. Oh my God, she drank it from a wine glass. She drank it from a wine glass. That's incredible. I didn't even notice that. I never watched it, I just heard about it.
CDS, que es un químico promocionado como supuesta cura para el coronavirus. Lo tomó en vivo, pero
oh no, she drank it from the bottle.
Supuesta cura. ¿Y por qué lo?
Oh my God. So yeah, Milei is denouncing her for calling him a Nazi. So I want to say that she's not a journalist like the other two listed here. He's also denouncing for calling him a Nazi, like for defamation, Carlos Pagni of La Nación, which is a right-wing newspaper, and Ari Lijalad, what the fuck kind of name is that? Of El Destape, which is like a left-leaning newspaper. So he is suing them for calumnias. Calumnias is like specifically the false accusation of a crime. Now, I don't think calling someone a Nazi is falsely accusing them of a crime because as far as I know, in Argentina, it's not actually illegal to be a Nazi, but maybe it is. And of course, just like a certain atrophied YouTube man, Mr. Milei, my friend Javier, he announced this during a live stream on a libertarian podcast. He goes on a libertarian podcast and like announces for content that he's suing three journalists, okay, two journalists and one woman, I don't know how best else to describe her, for calling him a Nazi. This is the president of Argentina on like the Argentine equivalent of the H3 podcast, announcing that he is suing journalists for calling him a Nazi. Is there a translation?
Para que sepan lograr.
No, there's no. Where is it? I don't know how to make this work.
Salieron
Nah. But what he said, I can translate this to English though. What he said was, I signed a complaint against free journalists for calling me a Nazi, and they have a very difficult time because among the guys who supported me is the president of Israel, and the newspaper La Nación went to court to stop it. So you know how things work here. The things Pagni did are very serious. In Argentina, it's a crime. It's the trivialization of the Holocaust. That's a very weird statement because he didn't denounce them for trivialization of the Holocaust, which I'm actually pretty sure isn't a crime in Argentina because there's plenty of Holocaust deniers in Argentina. They're fucking everywhere. But he denounced him for defamation. So it doesn't really make any sense what he's saying here. And he's like, the president of Israel is supporting me and that's somehow going to help me in my case. That's somehow going to help me win. He really does sound like fucking Ethan Klein. He really does. And he's like gyrating the whole time and like screeching and like making angry faces. He really is Argentine Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein, you should move to Argentina. You'd make a good Argentine president. Oh my God, I need to find the bed linens video just to show you what he sounds like. Because you can like do AI translations of Milei during his unhinged rants and he really does sound like Ethan Klein. I found it. Okay, here we go.
Just like there's one salami or three salamis sharing their opinion from a computer. You know what? Guess what? While they observe that mistake on the internet, I am situated in the midst of their bed linens.
Look at him vibrating. It's a spitting image. Okay, we have to watch that again. That's incredible. Holy fuck.
Just like there's one salami or three salamis sharing their opinion from a computer. You know what? Guess what? While they observe that mistake on the internet, I am situated in the midst of their bed linens.
Tell me that this is not the Ethan Klein president. This is the Ethan Klein president. They're the same person. I never thought about it before, but now I see it. Holy shit. From the frivolous lawsuits to the like unhinged rants while they're gyrating, they're the same person. Wow, incredible. So recently one of these frivolous lawsuits by Javier Milei was thrown out at the first hurdle. The judge refused to even entertain it. It never even passed the first hurdle of actually being admitted to trial, like literally just dismissed for being frivolous. The federal court confirms the dismissal of Milei's complaint against Carlos Pagni. Judge Eduardo Fara rejected the president's appeal and upheld. They appealed it as well. I didn't even notice. The court refused to even hear the case, and they appealed it. And a second judge refused to even hear the case. The Federal Court of Buenos Aires, with the signature of Judge Eduardo Fara, confirmed the dismissal of the complaint for slander and libel by President Javier Milei against journalist Carlos Pagni. The facts in the complaint do not constitute a crime, said Fara, who rejected the president's appeal. So why it was rejected for not constituting a crime is because in Argentina, the way this works, and pay attention, Ethan Klein, you can sue me for that. You can do this to me if you want. So the way that it works is that first you have to do a criminal complaint. So you do a criminal complaint, and then if the criminal complaint goes through, then you can sue for damages if you win the criminal complaint. But the criminal complaint doesn't actually come with any real penalty. I don't even know why it's criminal. It should all be civil, honestly. But that's how it works. So the judge said that, okay, this does not constitute a crime. It's not a crime to call someone a Nazi. And then a second judge checked the appeal and said, okay, that's not a crime to call someone a Nazi. Federal judge Daniel Rafecas rejected the president's complaint last month without even hearing it. Isn't it great to have a remotely independent judiciary? I'm not saying the Argentine judiciary is independent. It's not. But this is still a lot better than the USA right now. Like just a judge saying, no, fuck off. Federal judge Daniel Rafecas rejected the president's complaint last month without even hearing it because he ruled that the acts Milei accused the journalist of committing did not occur. He also noted the law does not criminalize expressions about matters of public interest. The ruling by Rafecas was the one upheld by the court today. And Fara also noted that journalist statements can never constitute a criminal offense because as long as it's undeniable that they refer to matters of public interest, regardless of considerations about the rightness or wrongness. Okay, I don't agree with that. I think journalists should get in trouble for saying things that are just flatly wrong, but I mean, still, he said the complaint had no merits on every point. He said what Milei claimed occurred never occurred, that it is not against the law to call someone a Nazi, and that anyway, journalists can't be found liable for saying things even if they're not true, which I don't agree with. That shouldn't be the case. In no case shall expressions referring to matters of public interest or those that are not assertive constitute the crime of slander, and in no case shall expressions referring to matters of public interest or those that are not assertive constitute the crime of libel, and qualify as damaging to honor when related to matters of public interest shall not constitute the crime of libel. And the judge actually referenced the pressure that was put on him by the Israeli president who gave Milei solidarity for being compared to the Nazis, and the DEA, which is like the Argentine ADL. So basically the judge ruled that no crime had occurred, so there was no defamation, there was no libel. You can call whoever you want a Nazi in Argentina, as it should be. Why the fuck shouldn't you be able to? The president of all people is clearly in the public interest to call him whatever political-based insult you want. And it's fucking ludicrous that he even tried. And I think the other two cases are still ongoing. I don't know what happened with those. Let's find out. They also dismissed the case against the other guy, Ari Lihalal. What the fuck is that? Is that like an Armenian or something? I don't know. So both cases have been dismissed at the first hurdle. The first judge to see them decided there's literally no merit and they're not going to proceed to trial. Ha ha ha. Imagine being so fragile. The president of a country, someone who, by the way, Milei constantly calls other people Nazi. So it's kind of a joke that he even tried this. Imagine being so fragile that you're the president of a country and you get offended at being called a Nazi. That's the most basic thing that anyone is going to call you if you're the president of any country. Okay, of any country, Western-derived country more, because the Nazis aren't that big of a cultural thing in a lot of the rest of the world. It's easy to forget that. But in a Western-derived country where the Nazis are the ultimate evil, then yeah, you're going to get called a Nazi. Obama was called a Nazi. It's just going to happen. Imagine being that fragile. He really is the Ethan Klein of presidents. I think Ethan Klein should try to become a president. He'd be a good Milei. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he's not cut out for it, but he should give it an honest go anyway. I have faith in you, Ethan. Give it a go. You're so alike.